The water above you has gone from white to a blue so dark it is almost the inside of your own eyes. Your chest is screaming. There is one more shell, just there, and you reach for it. You are 40 feet down on a single held breath, and you are down here because of a number. It is written beside your name in a ledger you will never be allowed to read. The debt your father carried, and his father before him. On this coast, every man is born into a number, and the only way to shrink it is to go down into the dark on one held breath and come up with light in your fist. You are a pearl diver of the Persian Gulf. You will spend your whole life paying a debt that was never built to be paid. And the cruelest thing the sea ever does to you is not the drowning. It is the one perfect pearl. You grow up in a town of coral stone and palm frond on the Arab shore, where everything, every house, every dhow, every full belly, comes out of the water in summer. The season has a name, the Gaus al-Kabir, the Great Dive, 4 months in the hottest part of the year when the fleets go out to the banks. Your father is a Gawaz, a diver, the best on his boat, and still he owes. The captain, the nakoda, advances money before the season so your family can eat through winter. Your father's share of the pearls is set against it, and somehow the number is never quite gone. You are too young to read a ledger. You think the sea is glory, the songs, the white sails, the merchants bent over a single pearl like it is a small moon. You do not yet know it is a mouth. You are 12 the year your father does not come up. He stays down one breath too long, reaching for one more shell, the way every diver here dies in the end. The nakoda comes to your house. He is not a cruel man. He drinks the coffee your mother pours with shaking hands, and he explains the arithmetic gently, the way you might explain the weather. The debt did not drown with your father. It belongs to his house now. It can fall on your mother. It can fall on your small brother. Or he lets the word sit, and you understand exactly what he is offering. So you make the only choice that is yours to make. You take it onto your own back, so it touches no one else. I will dive, you tell him. And you say one thing more, only to yourself, a thing you will carry for 30 years, that you will be the last. The nakoda nods and presses your father's nose clip into your palm, a small piece of bone, worn pale by 2 men's breathing, and closes your fingers over it. The clip and the debt are the same hand. First, you are a boat boy. You bail the bilge, you carry the water skin and the dates. You learn the gear by handling it. The stone, the hajar, that you loop under one foot to sink fast. The leather stalls for your fingers. The basket at your neck for the oysters. And the saib, the rope man, who sits on deck with your life wound around his forearms. When you tug the line, he hauls you up. And if he is slow, you do not come up at all. Over all of it, the Naham sings. The boat's singer sets the time for the rowing and the hauling, and slowly you understand his voice is not decoration. It is the only thing keeping 40 exhausted men pulling together, breathing together, sane. The first time you go over the side for a true descent, the song is the last thing you hear above, and the first thing you hear when the Saib pulls you back into the light. You learn the deep in your own lungs. You sink on the stone, 10 fathoms, 15, on the deep banks past 20, and you fill the basket in a minute and a half, and you tug, and you rise. 30 times a day. 40. And the thing no one tells the boy who dreams of pearls is that the oysters are almost all empty. You bring up the harvest of the whole seafloor, 4 months of it, from the first new moon of the great dive to the last. And it is shell and weed and sand. The merchant, the tawash, grades a whole season's haul down to 9 pearls the size of millet. Then your share, the share you nearly drowned for, is set against the number in the ledger before a single coin touches your hand. You are diving as hard as a body can dive, and you are standing perfectly still. You begin to understand the machine your father lived inside. It is not built to pay you, it is built to keep you. In a deep season, the sea nearly takes you. A rope fouls, or you hold for one shell too many, and the light above goes small and brown and far away. The next thing is the deck under your back, and the sahib's weight on your chest, and the salt coming up out of you. That night you lie still and you know finally and exactly how your father died, not in some other water, but in this one, doing this, for nothing. And here is the choice no one sees you make, because it happens in the dark, with no witness. You could be afraid for the rest of your life. You decide instead to be angry. At dawn, you fit the bone clip back over the blank of your face and you go over the side again. Not because you have surrendered to the sea, but because you have not. Every descent for the next 20 years is that same quiet defiance. They will not have your fear. They will only ever get your breath. You become a gawaz, a real diver, the one the boat is built around. You read the banks, the hayrat, by color and current. You know which water hides which shell. And one morning the sea gives you the thing every diver dreams of and dreads. You crack a shell on the deck, and inside it sits a dana. One flawless pearl, large, perfectly round, lit from within as if it has swallowed a lamp. For one breath you hold your whole freedom in your palm. A pearl like this could clear the number. It could end the debt your family has carried for 3 generations. And then you remember the law older than any of you. Every pearl belongs to the boat. You could hide it, but men are searched, and a hidden pearl is theft, and theft is broken bones and a fear you would carry to your grave. So you don't. You are not a thief, and you let yourself believe, because you need to believe, that honesty will buy you out. You carry the danar to the nakoda in your own 2 hands. He and the tawash weigh it and turn it in the light and name a price that is a fortune. And then they write it into the ledger against your debt. The miracle goes into the number, and the number swallows it whole, and you are still owing. The sea handed you the key to the door. The ledger ate the key. The years take their toll the way the sea takes everything, slowly, and then all at once. You are half deaf in one ear from the depth. Your eyes burn from salt and glare. And you have a son now, a small boy who carries the water skin on the deck the way you once did. And the old machine has already turned its face toward him. Soon he will be big enough for a stone and a clip and a number of his own. Then the world changes from a place you have never been and never will. The Tawash come up the coast with frightened news. In a country called Japan, a man has learned to grow pearls, to set a seed inside an oyster in a basket of calm water and farm them by the thousand, round and perfect and cheap. The merchants who once came to blows over your dana now barely look up. The price of a natural pearl begins to fall, and then the money of the whole far world collapses at once, and the price falls through the sea floor and does not come back. The banks are as full as they were on the first day of the world. The world that paid for what was in them is simply gone. Now the irony arrives, and it is heavier than any stone. The debt you have drowned your whole life to pay can no longer be paid. Not because you failed, but because the pearl itself is worth nothing, so no dive on earth can clear the number. The machine built to be inherited has broken in the only place it could break. There is nothing left to inherit it for. And there, on the deck, your son holds out his hands. He is the right age. He is ready, the way boys are always made ready, to take the stone and the clip and step into the number. Send him down into a dead sea to carry a dead debt. Or refuse, with no boat, no share, and no idea how your family will eat in the only world you have ever known. Your son's hands are out, the stone is by your foot. All you have to do is what every father on this coast has done since before the town had a name. You think of the boy you were at 12, and the thing you swore only to yourself, and you pick up the stone, and you carry it to the far rail, and you set it down where his hands cannot reach. The last seasons are quiet in a way the sea has never been. Fewer dhows leave the harbour each year. The Naham's song thins out, voice by voice, as the young men drift up the coast toward the strange new camps rising in the sand, men drilling for the black oil under the desert. The first motor launches coughing across water that has only ever known sail and oar. You dive your own last season, an old man going over the side one final time into the graded blue you have known longer and better than you have known any human face. You fill the basket. You tug the rope. The Sahib pulls you up into the light, the way he always has, the way no one will for very much longer. On the shore your son holds out his hands, the way boys always have, ready for the stone and the clip and the number, and you do not give them. You take the bone nose clip, your father's, worn pale by 3 men's breath, and you close your own fingers over it and you keep it. The sea is yours to look at, you tell him, not to drown in. You do not have to go down. The chain stops in your hand. And the banks are still down there tonight, exactly where they have always been. Thick with oysters, heavy with pearls that no one alive will pay to lift. A way of life 5,000 years old ended inside a single man's life. And on that same shore, where you held your breath in the dark for one bead of light, towers of glass will climb out of the desert, raised on the black oil beneath the very floor you dived. A wealth so vast it makes every pearl ever lifted look like a child's bead. And almost no one in its shadow will remember the men who went down on one breath, or the songs they sang to keep each other alive. Your father gave you a held breath and a debt. You give your son neither. Keep the clip. Look at the sea. You do not have to go down.